see how like the lighting looks.
Okay.
I'm
nervous already.
Don't be, it's fine, really. It's informal, it's no big deal.
Yeah. I like to talk, but I'm not used to talking in front of a camera. Well, life was fair to middling. My girlfriends all had steady boyfriends all the time, and I never did. I don't know, it looks like he built a car, and look at your look on your face. It's cute. So, in July of '64, my girlfriend and I used to go to McDonald's a lot, and that was before they had the inside McDonald's. And we went there several times, and we seen this good-looking guy, so we started flirting with him. And we did that for about 3 nights in a row. And then finally, about the 4th night, this guy come out that I didn't know, and he come to the car and he said, I just want to tell you that guy you're flirting with is married. Well, my girlfriend and I both went, oh no! So he said, my name is Charles Bragg, and he said, I work here. And he said, what's your name? So we exchanged names, and he said, I'm about ready to get off. He said, we could take a ride around the square. The square is a big deal in New York. And so that, back when we were teenagers, which I was 18 at that time, that was a big deal to ride around the square. So he said we could take a ride around the square, and he said, and I can drive. And I said, no, nobody drives my dad's car. I'll have to drive. So anyway, he got in and we talked, and he got in the back seat, and my girlfriend and I was in the front seat, and we were just talking and everything. And so then it was time for him to go home, and so we went back to his car, and he had left his car running. He had started to go home, and anyway, so we went back to his car, and he went home, and I thought, well, I'll probably never see him again. And about 3 days later, he called me and asked me for our first date. And so that was July 27th of 1964 was our first date. We went to New Lexington Fair, and just had a good time. Okay, what it felt like to meet him, I didn't think too much of it at first because, you know, I had met others, and he leaned on the car window. The windows were down because it was July, and he leaned in, he asked me questions, and I asked him questions, and I didn't get any real vibes at that point. Now when he wanted to ride around the square, I thought, oh, okay, but I thought, well, you know, I didn't know if he'd go for my girlfriend or for me, so I didn't get any real vibes until he asked me out for the first date, and it went so well. Then I started getting a little excited. So, well, once we had our first date around the square, that was kind of uneventful. I mean, it was fun, and we had fun, but I thought, well, I'll probably never hear from him again, is what my thoughts were. And then when he called me and asked me to go out, then that's when I started getting excited. So, and we lived in Hebron, small town Hebron, and when he always had a loud car, and so we could hear him coming from the traffic light, and my dad always said, here he comes, I hear him coming. So anyway, it was fun. It was, yeah, it kept getting better and better all the time. We got married. He asked me to marry him in July of 1965, and we got married October 16, 1965. And we moved into a little apartment in Newark, and we lived there for, it was about 2 months, and he got a letter that he had to go in the military. The Vietnam War was very hot at that time, and he got a letter that Uncle Sam wanted him. And I remember him opening that letter and reading it, and I bawled my eyes out because we'd been married about, let's see, it was October, November, December. Yeah, it was just 2 months, and then he had to leave. He had to be gone by January of 28th. He had to be either enlist or he was going to get drafted in the Army. So he got a hold of the Air Force, and he enlisted in the Air Force in January, like the middle of January, and he was to leave January 28th of 1966. And of course I was all upset because and I didn't get to go with him, of course, because he had 8 weeks of basic training. Well, then he came home from the 8 weeks, and he was supposed to go to 3 months, I believe it was, of what they call tech school, tech training for the aircraft jet engine mechanic. And he was supposed to go there by himself, but he said, I'm not going. That was in Texas. And he said, I'm not going there by myself. It was Wichita Falls, Texas. He said, you're going to go with me. In June, he graduated from tech school, and then he got orders to go to Selfridge Air Force Base in Mount Clemens, Michigan. We got there, and it was, it was September or so. We got there, it was April when we got home, and or June when we got home. So it was a couple, 3 months we got there, and then in September of, I gotta see that I get this right, September of 1966, then I found out I was pregnant for our first child, Kurt. And he was born in June 12th of 1967 at Selfridge Air Force Base Hospital in Mount Clemens, Michigan. And we were there and till, I think it was December of that year. He was born in June until December that year. And he got orders to go to Misawa, Japan, and that would have been in 1968. Looking back at our life, I remember when we first got married and he left for the service. That was very devastating, and we felt like going to the service for 4 years was an eternity, and we thought, oh, we'll never get through that. But I remember we did, and now we look back on that, and that was a short period of time in our life. We were very poor when we was in the service, and all of that, having to scrape for money, so to speak, made us stronger in the long run, and it made us appreciate things in the long run. And I think it really helped build our life. And then he got out and he started making good money. We thought, wow, this is something. And but we raised 4 boys, and was proud of. We moved around here a lot, just because we was always getting a bigger house or something. And we're proud of where we came from and proud of where we went, and we made a good life for ourselves, and we got 4 beautiful, hardworking sons and 9 beautiful grandchildren, and life in general, God has blessed us very well. In general, it's been just wonderful, and it's just great. I just can't say any more than that. Well, the advice I'd give to young girls waiting is don't give up, first of all, because I thought, as I said in the beginning, all my girlfriends had steady boyfriends and I didn't. And I thought, I'll never get married. And actually, when it gets right down to it, I was one of the first ones married out of my class. There was like one other of my close friends, that's of my close friends. There was like one other that she got married just a few months behind me, but I was one of the first ones to get married. And I would say, you just got to be patient and trust God, because He'll bring you the right one, and you'll know it when it's the right one. I knew I had just a gut feeling, and I guess patience is the best thing, and pray about it, and it will happen. And to me, it was a blessing, and I'm sure it will be to others if they just wait patiently and let it happen. You're walking all over the place there. Oh, look at her there. How cute. Put on a hill. 4 times, and I've still got most of these.
Let me see it.
Snowman collection.
Oh.
Austin told Shay Brook and